And of course, we have the U.S. men's national team. We have Gold Cup. We have Club World Cup. We have so much coming up. But certainly, I thought it'd be an opportunity for us to put a bow on the European season for the Americans who have done very well. And what I thought we would do is the first ever New Ground All-American, All-European best 11 for this year. So I'm going to throw out my 11. And
Yeah,
you and I are
let's
going to
get it.
chop it up and see. And if we agree, we agree. We move on, and we'll leave the real angst between some maybe a couple of questionable decisions, maybe by the manager here who put the team sheet together at yours truly. So, in no particular order, Chris Richards. He's in the 11. I think he's had a solid year for Crystal Palace. They're safe. He's played well. He's played in a couple different positions. He's done well. Christian Pulisic, obviously, he's one of the top players in Serie A. He's had a great year as well. Tyler Adams, so that's 3. I think anyone who's consumed the show knows how much I've enjoyed seeing Tyler Adams play this year in the Premier League. Been a lot of fun. Josh Sargent. I think Josh Sargent had a fantastic year in the championship. His team didn't get as far as they wanted to, but I think being one of the top strikers in that division really, really did take his career to another level. We'll see if he stays healthy.
Okay.
Anthony Robinson, right? Anthony Robinson, I believe, is still top 5 in assists in the league for all players in the Premier League. Had a great season for Fulham as well. Here's an interesting name that I think people would agree with in terms of what I liked is the consistency and the availability and the productivity. Brendan Aronson. I think Brendan's had a great year for Leeds. Leeds is back into the Premier League. I think he's going to have a chance to be a consistent starter for them as well. I think he's had a fantastic year. Wes McKennie, right? I think early and often we were on the Wes McKennie train. He's had a great year for Juventus. Seems like he might have cooled off a bit, but he did more than enough over the course of the season as well. And then I think it gets interesting here. I like Mark McKenzie. I think Mark McKenzie's had a strong year. I think he's done well to prove himself to be a player that should be considered for the U.S. men's national team picture. Tim Weah. I think Tim Weah has had a really, really good year as well. Do you think I missed anyone? I would say there's 2 players in Johnny Cardoso and Malik Tillman. Eunice as well that I had in there, Cameron Carter-Vickers. But when you think about that 10, if you will, I have one more to drop in a second. What do you think about those field players?
You know, I'm with it. I'm with it, to be fair. I was waiting for you to drop somebody in there where I'm like, no, I disagree. But, you know, I think the only one that has a really good shout, or the one that's floating up in my mind, is Haji Wright. Haji Wright has a decent shout because he's done well for club this season. And it seems to be a year where, you know, he's reinfused himself back into the U.S. men's national team conversation as far as getting called back in and X, Y, and Z. So that might be one that I would throw in there, but I like where you're going right now.
You know, I also want to give a bit of a honorable mention, if you will, even though it's on this side of the planet, but Alexis Sendejas has been balling for Club America as well. If people back in LA, it's so good to sort of be around the game, Liga MX in a different way. And he's been a great player for them. You know, I think he's definitely done well. You know, I named field players. I think the goalkeeping position has been something for the Americans that's been hit and miss the last couple of years. But if you covered up the name and you just showed the resume, I'm pretty sure a lot of people would put this player in the best goalkeeper, one of the best American goalkeepers in Europe, and that's Jonathan Klinsmann. Jonathan Klinsmann's had a fantastic year. He's able to get Cesena into Serie A. He's been there. He's done that. I know we can't have nice things, and I think it'd be a long, long shot for him to be back into the national team pool at the senior level. But Jonathan was heavily capped at the youth level for the U.S. So when I really think about goalkeepers and the Americans, Matt Turner hasn't had a great run. Horvath, like you can go down the road, if you will, the Europeans, but you can make a strong case that Jonathan Klinsmann has had as good a year for an American goalkeeper as anyone in Europe.
Yeah, the thing is that we're keeping this conversation just to Europe, and ironically, the American goalkeepers haven't done so well in Europe. But for me, I'm gonna make an asterisk here, because when you come back across the pond and you talk about the goalkeepers balling, okay, the pool then again stays thick, because you got Patrick Schulte balling, you have Freeze who's doing his thing, you have Zach Steffen, who is at the top of all of those three that I just named, and he right now is the best goalkeeper in the U.S. men's national team setup as far as form is concerned. So I don't mind the Klinsmann shout if you're talking about just staying in Europe. But when you look at the totality of Americans in general, the goalkeeping position is still strong. And it just so happens that the best goalkeepers that are playing in terms of being hot right now, they all, in my opinion, play in MLS.
What is up with that position, though? I feel like it's going to come back. You're not worried about it. Okay. Okay. I'm going to take your vibe then.
The reason why I'm not worried about it is because from a national team standpoint, producing goalkeepers is something that the United States has always done at a very high clip. We're talking about Tony Meola. We're talking about how McCasey Keller. You're talking about Marcus Hanneman. You're talking about Tim Howard.
Yes.
Come on, man.
I know.
And we haven't even gotten to those that aren't in or haven't necessarily been in the U.S. men's national team setup as consistently as those that I just mentioned, that are all World Cup vets.
Yep.
So for me, we are still proving the point that we can produce goalkeepers at a very high level. But what is a little bit perplexing is that the ones that are playing for the best clubs in Europe right now aren't having the best seasons. But that's the ebb and flow of football and life.
Yeah, no, that's well said. Very well said. And I'm gonna follow Jalil on this. He's not worried about it. I'm not going to be worried about it as well. We still have a long time to go.
Take a look, I'm shining. Moonwalk, keep both feet gliding. I'm up now, great timing. When I was down, was you riding for me? When I was down, was you riding for me? Was you riding for me?